Hey everyone, so there's been another update here in the NFL playoff picture here. After week 16, Monday Night Football, there are 2 more weeks in the NFL regular season, and I'm going to share with you an update of the playoff picture for Monday Night Football. There has been an update here in the NFC, as you see here, and it involves one team clinching a playoff spot. The Green Bay Packers with their 34-0 shutout win over the New Orleans Saints without their backup quarterback Spencer Rattler, without Taysom Hill, their tight end, their quarterback tight end that is a quarterback, but also they converted into using as like a tight end or like running back, like a running quarterback, kind of like a running back. They've done that with him, converted like the star running back is out. Like there's some of their key skill positions, like they call it, like the quarterback, running back, like wide receivers, tight ends. Like their skill offensive players. Their key offensive players are out. And then their offensive line, and they had injuries with their offensive line in that game. They did. You can see that they're pretty depleted. And Green Bay just demolished them, and that's so surprised they're 34-0. I mean, I kind of knew that going that game. And I didn't know that was that much of a blow, but I thought, okay, maybe they'll show up a little bit, stay competitive, but Green Bay will win the game. They weren't even competitive at all, like hardly at all. It wasn't so good. It was so not competitive that they put in Malik Willis at the end of the game, and some of the backups in the fourth quarters included. That's how you know. Yes, Green Bay does clinch the 6th seed with a win. However, they will not be able to clinch the division with 2 losses to Detroit, with Detroit Lions having 2 wins over Green Bay Packers. Detroit Lions too, but most likely they'll be able to clinch the 6th seed, though. But however, they will need to they either need a win to guarantee the 6th seed. They'll need to win both against the Minnesota one against next game on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, and then win the Sunday after, the first Sunday in January, against and they'll need to win the game in January, first game in January, against the Chicago Bears, or the Week 18 game in January against the Chicago Bears. They'll need to win that one, and then they'll clinch playoffs. Or as the 6th, they'll be playoffs guaranteed as the 6th. However, I think it could. If they do, but if they have a tough game matchup against the Minnesota Vikings at 14:05 Eastern on Sunday on Fox, and that's a tough one, nationally televised game in the NFL. Unless you're a Miami or a Cleveland fan, you're pretty much gonna be watching that game, So that is pretty, So we will see what happens if Green Bay wins or if Minnesota wins. It's going to be pretty competitive. Because I was trying to see just for curiosity, how much is Minnesota favored or is Green Bay favored? But actually, Minnesota's only favored by 1.5, so it's pretty close game matchup. So, which I'm not surprised because there's 2 divisional opponents. Division games are close as it is, but you have 2 divisional opponents that are fighting for the tops, the seeds. They're still got Minnesota fighting for the 1 seed if they win against Green Bay and win against Detroit, and then you got Green Bay fighting for the 6th seed. Could be the 5 if Minnesota lost both games. It's because of head-to-head tiebreakers. In other scenarios, whether tiebreakers, because it would be 1-1 in tiebreaker scenarios. So we'll see how that goes. But Green Bay should get this. But then it also depends on this if Green Bay loses to Minnesota and Washington beats Atlanta on Sunday Night Football, will Green Bay fall the 7 seed? I mean, well, it's either Green Bay plays the LA Rams or the Seattle Seahawks, who wins the NFC West, or they play Tampa Bay or Atlanta, whoever wins the NFC South. That's who they'll play, because as that's the 3 seed. Either team could be the 3 seed. You could have tiebreakers and other stuff, but you have got those 4 teams are fighting for the 3 and 4 seeds. They're a game back. The NFC South and NFC West leaders. And then that's if you're the 6th seed. If you're the 7th seed, you'll play Philadelphia. You'll most likely play Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia has 3 losses. So there's no way Philadelphia can really sneak the 1. There really isn't. That'd have to be Philadelphia win. But Minnesota pretty much and Detroit pretty much had the tiebreakers over Philadelphia regardless. There would have to be basically a tie between Detroit and Minnesota. And they both lose week 16 or week 17 against San Francisco and Green Bay respectively, in order for Philadelphia to get the number 1 seed. So you'd be basically playing Philadelphia as the 7. So we'll see how that goes, but there's still a little bit to be determined. But we'll see what happens in week 17. Then in the AFC, Kansas City will clinch the 1 seed and home field advantage in the AFC playoffs with a win over Pittsburgh. In the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs they'll clinch the number 1 seed. Like I said, that's on Christmas Day, the Netflix game. They'll clinch the AFC number 1 seed. And then Buffalo, if Kansas City wins, Buffalo will clinch the number 2 seed with the win over they'll clinch with a win. Yeah, they still need to, because it depends on what Baltimore does with Houston. That would be Pittsburgh and Baltimore both need to lose in order for the Buffalo Bills to clinch the 2 seed without having to play on Sunday. However, one of those 2 teams win, which Baltimore is more likely to win over Houston. And Pittsburgh is over Kansas City if Buffalo wins. But that means Buffalo will have to win on Sunday most likely over the NY Jets. And if Buffalo wins over the NY Jets, the New York Jets on Sunday, Buffalo clinch the 2 seed. So, and then you have LA Chargers win. If they beat New England, they'll clinch the playoff spot. If Denver beats Cincinnati, they'll clinch the 7 seed. So it's going to be tough, for both those teams. More tougher for Denver, because they did beat Indianapolis, and then Miami, is hanging on. But Cincinnati does play Denver, so Denver could lose to Cincinnati, and then it would make week 18 the matchup against Kansas City an even bigger one. Because it depends also if Kansas City is still fighting for 1 seed week 18. Could Denver be out of the playoffs if Cincinnati wins? Cincinnati goes 9-8. Maybe. It just depends. Is Cincinnati, is Kansas City fighting for the number one seed? You know, or and one of the rest of stars. You know, not if they're not fighting for the one seed, or they going to rest their stars, or or are they playing or do they need a win to get the one seed and play their stars? If Denver loses, it's gonna be interesting, But it all depends on how LA Chargers do and how Denver does. Because if both those teams win, Indianapolis, Miami, and Cincinnati in the AFC will all be eliminated. But Cincinnati is still most likely to control their own though, because Denver win. I mean, if LA Chargers win, that'll eliminate Indianapolis for sure. That might eliminate Miami though. I'm not sure in the tiebreakers with Denver or LA Chargers for Miami, but that would pretty much eliminate one of those two. One, not guaranteed, but would make them even harder. So, I mean, as much as as Miami doesn't want Cincinnati to win, you know, they need to have Cincinnati win because they actually have the best shot of keeping Miami in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens in the AFC in the playoff picture, but that's it for the playoff picture right now. So, but yeah, it all depends on what happens. So, in the playoffs, But yeah, that's it. So, I'll update you after the Christmas Day games about the AFC playoff picture. And then Saturday will be regarding the AFC playoff picture for the teams that are, especially it's not the seeds aren't going to be locked up yet, but it'll be the matchups won't be locked up, but you'll have more of an idea of what teams are still in the hunt, for Sunday's games, and what teams are locked in. If who's locked in, still who gets eliminated because of Saturday's games. And then you have that Sunday. Sunday you have Saturday of one AFC matchup games, but Sunday is really the one who determines like the NFC seedings. It's really on Sunday's games. So